So now we have this lizard that's moving around on the screen, but there's nothing else to interact with. So in this video, we're going to add another sprite. And speaking of that, while we're at it, this sprite currently is just called Sprite 1. So right now I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to just change the name to lizard. And that way we can start defining our sprites by their different attributes. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to go find a rock. I believe we can get a rock here. So there's a rock. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a few rocks appear in the sprites, in the lizard sprites environment, so that he will have to avoid them as he moves around in his space. So we only need one sprite. It's already named rocks, by the way, so that's great. We only need one of them because we're going to use a property called cloning. And in cloning, it's going to allow us to make multiples of this same rock in different spots around the stage. So first thing we're going to do is under events, we're going to say when clicked, we're going to appear somewhere. I'll just pick a spot like something like that. And if I put this there, notice by the way that this will change. Take a look at that. Go to XY when I'm moving around like this. So whenever you're thinking about where is a sprite located, you could always look down here where the current coordinates are. And they'll also appear in certain blocks that you pull out, like the go to. So in this case, I just want the block to appear here. It's a little big though, so I'm going to change the size. I'm going to go to looks, and I'm going to change the size to something like, let's say 30%. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's a good size. So it'll still get in the way of a lizard if he's running into it, but it's not too big to take up so much screen real estate. And we're going to add some more to it now. So the way to clone is you go to your controls section and you say create a clone of myself. Now what that does is it creates a second one. But what you need to tell it to do is when I do start as a clone, what am I going to do? And so I'm going to say let's put out 3 clones. So I'm going to say repeat. I think we can just do a repeat like this. Yeah. Let's say repeat 3 times. That'll give us a total of 4 clones. And then we're going to say when I start as a clone, I'm going to go, I want to show up in some random location. So I'm going to say go here, literally go to random position. Let's just see what that looks like here. Okay, so it immediately created an original and then repeated that 3 times to create 3 more. If I hit stop and start again, it creates more in different locations throughout the stage. Okay, so each time I'm clicking, it's putting them in random spots. I like that. I think I actually maybe want a few more rocks, so I'm going to say 5. Okay, that's good. And that's quite a bit for that lizard to have to get into. Now, what you'll notice right now at this point is the lizard walks right through those rocks. So we're going to need to create some code blocks in the lizard scripting to say, what do you do when you run into that rock? So I'm going to go back to my lizard, and I'm going to say, I'm going to keep it separate so that we can read these at the same time. I'm going to leave this one, which is kind of like his walking script here, and I'm going to create another one that's going to be kind of like when you find a rock, what do you do? And so the first thing I'm going to do is bring out a forever. So forever, do the following, and then we're going to say let's try this one here. We're going to experiment as we go along. If touching rocks, so do something if you touch the rocks. So I'm going to say move backwards. So maybe move -10, move away from the rock if you see it. And then you want them to not just go straight back towards the rocks. You want them to turn. So I'm going to say turn, let's say turn 90 degrees or something like that. We'll see how that works. Let's just see what this does. So he comes along. He is about to find a rock. There, he backed away. Okay, so now he's avoiding the rocks. And for now, that might be good enough. Just move away 90 degrees. We can get them to do some other behaviors that are maybe a little bit more visually accurate, but I think for now, that's perfect. So just to wrap up, we created rocks that started themselves, initially just one, and then created 5 more copies. And then when they were copied, they just went to random positions. I might actually add one more thing here. I think I want to change the size of the clones just randomly. What if I went to set size, and then I did a random between the other one's 30%, so maybe between 25 and 40, something like that. Let's see what that does. So I hit stop and start. Okay, so the rocks are coming out at slightly different sizes, which gives it a little bit more of a real visual appearance when they're slightly different. Okay, and that's it for creating a new sprite and cloning, as well as avoiding the object when the first sprite comes in contact with it.